guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Dawn Garnett, and today's video is all about how I make curried chickpeas, aka Chana. This is one of my most requested recipes, only second to my jerk sauce. So let's get started. First, we're going to start with chopping half an onion. I'm using a red onion here. I use about half an onion, and I don't really fuss over chopping it too fine. It's pretty coarse, but it is all about the same size pieces. So now let's get that out of the way, and we'll move on to the garlic. The garlic I already smashed, peeled obviously, and cut pretty finely. Again, just all uniform. Now for the tomato, I use a whole tomato or a handful of cherry or grape tomatoes. I just slice it and then cube it. You're also going to need a tablespoon of soy sauce, half a cup or more of coconut milk, a can or 2 cups of chickpeas, and your spice mixes. A tablespoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of paprika, and about 3 tablespoons of curry powder. You can add more if you like more. I'm just adding about a tablespoon of oil here to medium-high heat. You can use water if you don't use oil. And just coating the bottom of the pan to get it ready. And now I'm just adding my onion and garlic to the pan. And I'm just going to cook it for about a minute or so here. You don't have to brown it or cook it too translucent. It's just to soften it up a bit. And once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go ahead and add my chickpeas and just mix that around just to make sure it's all uniform and distributed evenly. And just cooking that for another minute or two. I'm going to go ahead and add my spice mixture, and for this I've also added in a dried vegetable broth to it, just to make life easier. Got it all prepared together just so I could pour it all in. And I'm just going to move that around until all the chickpeas are coated pretty evenly. And actually, at this point, if you wanted to, you could actually transfer this onto a baking sheet and throw it in your oven. You wouldn't end up with chana, but you would end up with a nice crunchy treat to put on top of salads or just to munch on. So I'm just going to continue stirring here just for another minute. And now I'm just going to add my coconut milk. And as I said before, because I added the vegetable broth to the spice mix, I'm just going to refill the same cup up with some water and just add plain water here. Now you can add vegetable broth here or just water, or like I did, how I added water to the dried base. I'm just going to stir that in, and this is a good time to add in your soy sauce. And a little more water to just cover the chickpeas. Now if you were going to add potatoes, this is when I would do that. I would cube them and add them now, and again adding water just to cover everything. And now I also need to get my tomatoes in there so they can stew down with everything else. So now that I'm happy with this, I'm going to go ahead and cover it and cook it for about 15 minutes. I will come back and check it about every 5 minutes, see how we're doing. And while that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and clean up. I like to clean as I go and wash up all the dishes I've used and clean around the sink and the countertops. just to make less to do later. Instead of having a big pile of things to do later, we just get it while we're waiting for stuff to cook. So it's been 5 minutes. I'm just going to give it a stir and check to make sure there's enough liquid in there still. And it's looking good. And another 5 minutes later, it's still looking pretty good and it smells amazing. So I'm pretty happy with how this is looking now, and I'm going to go ahead and plate it. And there you go, there it is. There are so many different ways to eat this. I eat it over rice, I eat it over potatoes, and today I'm putting it over some kale and some quinoa. So I'm adding about a cup of the curried chickpeas on top of some kale and quinoa that I've previously cooked. And then just topping it with some tomato and avocado. And sprinkling some hemp seed on top. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and thank you for watching. If you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. And if you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. And I will see you in the next video.